Good evening, Des Moines, Iowa, and the world. Welcome to the Doc and Lefty program, broadcasting to you from the north side of frigid Des Moines. This is Lefty. As always, we're bringing you the perspectives you love from the sides you hate. And he's had his fourth cup of eggnog in this 2016 new year. Doc Petrosh. Doc, what's up?
Just my weight, not my IQ.
Hey, Happy New Year, man.
Hey, Happy New Year
We didn't
to
talk
you.
about that at all last week.
We didn't.
We made it.
We did make
This is the oldest we've ever been as a species.
Yeah, and this is the oldest this show has ever been, too.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now I'm just going to put this out there. Blake is feeling under the weather, and he's still a trooper and showed up.
Yes.
So unlike a liberal who would take that opportunity to cream him right there while he was down, I'm going to take the conservative approach and try to help him during the breaks.
Your weakness is going to be your downfall.
Well, and that's often the truth with Republicans.
Yes.
Yes.
That's true.
So
So I apologize if my voice sounds weird. I just sort of, ever have one of those things where you're sitting doing some work and you haven't felt great, but you chalked it up mainly to being kind of tired from the night, but you didn't get as much sleep as you could have used. And then about 2-3 in the afternoon, all of a sudden it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Your body starts to just hurt. Your face swells up and it feels like it's swollen the size of a grapefruit on the inside, and your nose is just a leaky faucet for like the next week.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how I feel when I have to give a lecture to a bunch of liberals. So now you know what it feels like for me to come on the show.
I feel like I might be allergic to your dumb opinions. Yeah, it might be it.
First, we have a couple of things I want to talk about first. And I'm sure you'll want to talk about it too. We have lost two giants in the musical world last week.
Yeah.
Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead, who was one of my favorites growing up, right? I mean, how cool is this guy that he is a hardcore rocker doing pop music, right? He was in My Future's So Bright, right? That was the song he was in. And then David Bowie. And that's a terrible loss. And he faced his death with a lot of aplomb, the same kind of aplomb that Steve Jobs had.
Well, don't forget about Natalie Cole.
Natalie Cole,
January 1st.
Yeah, that's an awful one too. So we've lost music greats that have impacted the world, impacted culture.
Yep.
And the thing I want to talk about is way back when, I don't even think you were born yet. Back in the day when you had 3 channels, and if you got lucky, you had the IPTV network, right? And you had to use the bunny ears and the rest of it. Bing Crosby, who was the flag bearer of 2 generations of musical genius, gets up there with this, quote, weirdo, end quote, David Bowie, who had done, at that point, had been Ziggy Stardust, had done all these very bizarre, for lack of a better term for the age, things. And here he is with singing Little Drummer Boy on a Christmas special with Bing Crosby. And I remember sitting there watching this because Little Drummer Boy is my favorite Christmas song. And I remember sitting there with my family because back in the day you had one Christmas special, either you watched it or you were, accused of being a Satanist. And we were watching this and I thought to myself, how beautiful this is. What talent this guy has. And it was absolutely amazing. And it brought in and made legitimate all the other, I don't know how to say it, all the other musical styles that were going on at the time. And that was wonderful. And then Natalie Cole was a trailblazer, singing several songs that her dad had made famous with them through remix technology. And then finally, Lemmy, who there will be, just like there's never going to be another David Bowie, never going to be another Lemmy Kilmister. Well, so I'm going to let you take it away since you're much more involved in that.
Well, Natalie Cole, first of all, I think she passed on January 1st after. It doesn't seem to be, it was linked to anything, but she had long struggles with substance abuse, and she had finally started to kind of turn that corner over the last several years. And the thing about Natalie Cole that was so cool was that obviously her dad, and you all know or have heard of Nat King Cole. And this was a guy who was just a jazz giant. Aside from the fact that his voice was unbelievable, he came up as just a hardcore jazz pianist, an unbelievably talented guy playing old Dixieland standards and coming up through the ranks. And so with that kind of heritage, she could have kind of rested on her laurels and just been another talented child of a hugely successful musician. She didn't do that. She made her own way. She made her own path and became famous in her own right. So much so that the album that she recorded after her dad passed away, that had Unforgettable on it, that had LOVE on it, and those great Nat King Cole standards, was not so much a piece designed to hype herself, but was more a tribute to her dad. Lemmy Kilmister, if you want to know about a guy who was universally loved in the industry and was an inspiration not just to metal guys or to hard rock guys, but to just straight ahead rock guys, to blues artists, he spanned 40 years. 40 years of Motorhead, but he was playing with Little Richard back in the day in the 60s in those old those old English rock bands. I mean, you always hear about the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or the Stones as these English guys that really embodied modern American rock and roll music, and you always forget about Lemmy Kilmister. You can't forget about Lemmy Kilmister and David Bowie. What really impresses me about certain artists, and you don't see this with everybody, but a guy like David Bowie, who was able to reinvent himself for every single era and to be not just at the forefront of that era, but pushing it a little further, was unbelievable. And the truly sad thing about this, aside from the fact that I didn't know he was sick, he kept the cancer thing really, really close to the vest, but they were hyping his record label was hyping his new album just last week.
Oh yeah,
getting ready for him to go and promote it.
Well, I think it was
nobody. I don't think anybody knew.
Well, and nobody knew. And the thing is at least on Facebook, there's supposed to be a picture of him 2 days before his death, and he's looking spry and happy. And I think that's the way people want. I think that's the way he wanted people to remember him. They didn't want to remember him being sick. Yep. And, his wife, Iman, got up there and said she never fell in love with David Bowie, but David Jones she loved. Mm-hmm. And, oh, my God, I'm going to get all teary-eyed. It's just great how this man has never been a tragic figure. Never. He has been in the middle of some controversies, but he has always remained very positive. Now, for all you nerds out there listening, his son works on the World of Warcraft and Warcraft in general. And he's also working on the World of Warcraft movie, Duncan Jones, right? Cool. So, yeah, I thought that was all kinds of neat. And, so not only is he a pioneer, he raises one of the coolest kids ever. Honest to goodness. So, and here's something strange. At the very first BlizzCon that I got to go to, Duncan Jones got up there and was talking all about World of Warcraft and what they're doing and everything else. And I had no idea, none, that he was David Bowie's son. And I could have, and I met him, shake his hand, because, it's a big party and everybody's friendly. So me and my son actually got to meet that guy, actually got to touch, greatness. And I didn't even know it. So much like, me and you getting together.
Every single time.
We don't know.
Every single time.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Without you, we wouldn't be, well, we'd still probably do the show. It just would be a lot duller and in our basement. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us legitimate. I also want to thank Maddie for not winning the Powerball, because that's how I know she didn't win it, because she's still here. So... Anyway,
have you bought your ticket?
What?
Have you bought your ticket?
About 4 billion of them.
Yeah.
So
I'm on my way after the show.
Yeah. So anyway, want to thank everybody for tuning in. Want to thank all of our sponsors, BertrosianAssociates.com, Lubinas Law Firm at LubinasLawFirm.com. Me and Blake promise that if we win the lottery, we will still continue the show, but it will be from an exotic Caribbean location.
Oh, we got to stay true to our roots, man. We got to stick in Des Moines. We just have to
figure out a way not to be here when it's cold.
I love it. You know that I love the winter.
I'm old. Halo Capital at DesMoinesInterestrates.com, Des Moines Anesthesia PC. They do, what do they do, Blake? They do anesthesia and pain management.
Pain management. They're so great at it.
They are pretty good. In fact, right now, I feel like I'm on a little bit of pain management protocol here. You can get a hold of them at 515-574-6442. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Bing, and what's the other one? YouTube. We have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Where you can watch all the show if you miss any of it. Or if you just want to say, geez, those guys are idiots. Look how stupid they are. You can go there and do that too with your friends. Go to DocNLefty.com. We have some blogs coming up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back right after this.